Welcome back to Tea Time Talks, and today I'm back to you with chai karak. Finally, it is OG chai karak with the flavor of masala, and as always, I put only half a cup because it only requires 150 milliliters of water, and I still didn't get a cup or a mug that can fit this amount of water, so I'm using mine, just filling it to the half. And as a snack, I'm using these Turkish biscuits, I believe. I don't remember the brand, but those biscuits have jam inside, and those particular ones are with apple and apricot. They're just mixed here, so I'm not sure which ones are which. But enough about food, let's talk about today's topic. And if you follow my page, you know that a couple of days ago I posted a video about this booth for books. It's secondhand used books. Some of them are actually pretty beaten up, and you will see today's in the video. And in that video, I didn't actually find anything to buy at that time, but I did have many books before from those places, and I decided to tell you about them. And I would like to start with this teeny tiny little book. It's R.L. Stine, and if you know this series that called Goosebumps, you know what I'm talking about. These are the children's book with the horror stories, but they always end with the happy endings, so nothing too scary if you're considering something like this for your kid. Those books are always very thin. This one only has 117 pages, and also the font is just huge. My favorite parts though, the numbers that divides book into chapters, because they imitate dripping blood. And when I was a kid and I read it, I was so excited and I was so happy about how it looks like. I would often read such books when I'm on the go. For example, if me and my family are traveling to the seaside, or if I'm going to the camp, I would take books like this with me and spend my time reading. Since I was such a fan and I really liked those books, but I didn't have much, now every time I see them, I really want to buy them. This particular one is from 1996, and look at this! This book is as old as I am. Next, let's get to the classics. Those are two classic stories of Jane Austen. One of them is Pride and Prejudice, and another one is Emma. I would say that those books are in okay condition. It's just the time, because those books are also more than 20 years old, and it's normal that they have cracks, especially if they were moved or if people actually read them. And I don't mind buying books that were already read before. It's totally fine with me. Of course, if it has some kind of writings inside, if the book is torn, it's sad. But if books was used, cared for, and people actually enjoyed having them, but then I don't know what happened, they decided to sell it, or they got tired of them, or there were many reasons why people actually sell their own books. So let's get back to the stories. Pride and Prejudice is the one that I read in Russian, and I love the story. I love the series. I guess it was the original series that has two parts. It's called the third one. That was my favorite one. I didn't really like the second one just because Mr. Darcy is not Darcy enough. Overall, I'm in love. This book is very good, and that's why I got the book in English, because I decided that I need to read the actual story, how it is, not in translation. And the other one is Emma, and the motive to get this book was actually just because my mom highly recommended it to me when I was reading Pride and Prejudice. I guess we didn't have it at home at that time, so now I'm going to fulfill this gap in my knowledge with this English edition. The next book published by the same people in the same series, and the author is Alexander Dumas, and the book itself is Man in the Iron Mask. The description says that it is the third adventure of Dumas' infamous Musketeers, which I am fan of. I read the story about the Three Musketeers around 15 years ago, maybe. I don't know, it was just a task from school and I actually enjoyed it. I watched some ekranizations, but of course the book is better. I mean, I can't do anything about that. And I really loved Three Musketeers. Another reason of me getting this book was two theories that exist in life. One of them is that Alexander Dumas is actually Alexander Pushkin, who was a very famous poet in Russian Empire times. This theory excites me because of some life conditions that they had during their lives. So you can speculate about it, and of course being like, oh, there is a mystery. So that's one of the theories. Another theory is that Peter the Great, who was a Russian emperor in 18th century, he actually was the prototype of the person who Alexander Dumas wrote the book about. So we're talking about The Man in the Iron Mask. And the long story short, during his European travelings, he was kidnapped, he was imprisoned, and he had this mask on him, and instead of him, they sent somebody else to Russia to rule there. This is the theory, and since then I was like, oh my god, there are two mysterious theories surrounding this book. I really want to read it. I understand I'm not gonna get any answers from the book itself, but it's just exciting to be next to those mysteries. All those three books I got very long time ago from one of such booths. I'm not even sure which exactly district it was, but I don't really think it matters. And I believe at that time they costed even cheaper than they do now. So I believe they costed like €1 per book, which is like 400 forints or 450 forints, something like this. Considering the fact that this is classics of fiction literature, I am pretty pleased, and I believe those books are gonna stay with me, even though they have such not so presentable looks. I don't buy my books for the looks. I buy my books for the insides of them, and I really like reading those stories. Hopefully I will, because sadly earlier I just didn't have time. I didn't have enough time because of my studying. Now I'm free and I can do whatever I want, even if it's reading those classic fictional stories. I think it's time to make a break and get my first impression of the tea. Oh my god, I didn't know what to expect. It hit me with very kind of spicy flavor, which didn't stay in my mouth, but it hit me directly in the throat. It was so weird. I can definitely feel some kind of chili or pepper in it. This is my first time trying it, so I wasn't actually sure that it's going to be spicy. I mean, I understand that masala is not mild, like it is actually the spicy part, but I don't know if I like it as the tea. Like as the flavor, it's good. As the tea, like as a morning drink or like just any day of the time drink, I don't think it's something that I would choose. But at the same time, it's pretty cold today, and such spiciness kind of make you feel warmer and more alive, you know? I don't know, I'll get back to that. When I was preparing for this video, I know for a fact that I got those two books from the booth. I know that it happened around 2 years ago or so, but I know for sure that I read them, both of them, and I remember that I had very different opinion on them. One of them I absolutely liked, another one was just annoying and boring, and I literally forced myself to finish it. But kill me, torture me, I will never remember which one was it. I think this book, the one that looks the worst, but it has such cool inside. Look at this, it's just so pretty. It has the cutouts. I didn't do it myself, it was already here, and inside they have an extra layer, an extra cover. It's just, I really liked it. I think it was this one that I liked. As I remember, the main character, she works in the morgue, so she deals with dead people. It was just very easy to read, even despite the fact that the topic is not so fun and joyful, you know. I highly recommend it to you, but don't trust me, it's like 50% chance, because there is still this book that called Death Day, and somehow I felt like it would be interesting story, but it either ended up being boring or I never finished it. Huh, interesting. Anyway, I do like thrillers, horrors. Stephen King is my favorite writer, so duh. And I understand that the books are not in a perfect condition, and it's totally fine with me. I don't mind that. As I mentioned before, I read it just to read it, not to keep it on my price shelf and brag about it. No, for that I will have some very fancy Harry Potter edition one day. These two books belong to another category. If I will have chance of getting rid of them or exchanging them for some other interesting story, I would. These two were around the same price. Maybe by the time I bought them, they kind of increased prices to like 600 forints, which is like €1.50. But still, for the book, it's not a high price at all. I mean, if you are actually going to bookstores and you consider buying books, you can see that the prices are very high. And I'm not only talking about English books in Hungary. Of course, those are going to be expensive. It was the case in Russia as well. But even if you want to buy a Hungarian language book in Hungary or Russian language book in Russia, it would be still expensive. I don't know what exactly happening, but yeah, we'll see that all the prices are going higher and books kind of in the same category. That's why, again, I will say it, I do like the secondhand book places because you can find some. Yes, it won't be something new, it's probably going to be some classics or some stories that like that nobody heard of it. Did you heard of it? I never heard of it. I mean, those authors, I don't remember seeing them in Russian. So like maybe if you're English speaker, if you live in America or if you live in UK, you may have it and know them and hear about them. The idea is that books are getting more expensive, and if you want to read something, you go to the second-hand book places and enjoy something like this. Since I mentioned Stephen King, I have one book of his that I also got from the same book booth, and I was so happy. I actually went there accidentally. I didn't even know that they have such book booths in that particular stop. I went there and I did have a feeling that I will find Stephen King. Like I was like really looking for it, and my luck, I did find it. I actually saw this like back picture because I one of my one of my hobbies is to find his pictures on the back, and I was like, wow, it's really a luck for me. I don't remember the price. Maybe at the time it was like 600 or something like this. And for Stephen King book, it's not a price, especially in English, right? I met my husband because that's where I was going to meet my husband. And I was telling him, I'm so happy I got this book. I showed him the book. We went for out to the mall or something, I don't remember. Came back home, called my mom, started telling her about this amazing book that I found, and this is Stephen King, and it was cheap. And then I open it and I start reading it. And I understand that it's in French. And my French is not good. I mean, when I say it's not good, I did try to study it at school, I did try to study it at university. Well, how did try? It was mandatory, so I didn't have choice. But still, you know, you can't really learn a language when you have like 2 hours a week of speaking this language. So it was absolutely useless. Even though I do like French language, the every time I listen to musical Mozart, I really want to learn French and speak French. Same with me listening Rammstein, I really want to learn German and speak German. So, but eventually, no, I cannot read at this point. I cannot read French. That's why this book is just here. It is waiting for somebody who does speak French and does love Stephen King, so they would be interested in actually buying it, exchanging it. At least I have this in my collection, a new picture of Stephen King. My favorite one is this one. What do you think? Which one is better? I think this one is the best he has on his books, but debatable. Anyway, let's go to the next book. So I already showed you 6 books, and all of them were different genres. They all were in kind of different conditions, and I bought them for different price. Now I want to show you my latest and probably the greatest find on such booths on secondhand bookstores, because I first of all didn't expect to find something like this. Second of all, I didn't even know I want something like this. But yes, I actually found it one day before I decided to film a video about the book booth, and I was so happy about it. You have no idea. But wait, ta-da! If you can read it, this is Jack the Ripper, Letters from the Hell. And this book was made by Stuart P. Evans and Keith Skinner. Why did I say made and not wrote? Not because English is not my first language, but because this book is not a fiction. This is some kind of research, I would say. It consists of the letters, of prints of the things they had about the the Jack the Ripper. And this book is from 2001, so keep in mind that at that time people still didn't know who Jack the Ripper is. This book is heavy, it has hardcover, it even has the protective peel on top, the plastic wrap. It has white pages, they're glossy. This book has colorful pages, and the printing is very good, nothing is damaged, there are no writings. The book is in perfect condition, and I was so surprised seeing something like this at the book booth just on the street, like next to my house basically. So when I checked it more, I just looked around, and it seems like it belonged to the British Consular Library here in Budapest, and it was withdrawn because, I mean, probably after everybody learned who Jack the Ripper is, this book is not, doesn't have any important information anymore. Honestly, I didn't really follow the story of Jack the Ripper. I thought like, yeah, it's going to be the mystery forever, we'll never know. Maybe it was the group of girls, maybe it was the cart, maybe it was anywhere, it could be anybody. But now, since they did the DNA test, people kind of know the truth, right? But for me, I'm still curious. I kind of want to fill this gap in my knowledge about Jack the Ripper. I want to know more. I want to know. I mean, here I can literally read every letter he left. I mean, if I can read this handwriting, of course, because it's kind of the cursive is always weird if it's not your native language, right? And please, somebody guess how much this book costed in the book booth. Please leave a comment now, and we will know if you are correct. Okay. You did it? 900 forints. The book that has 300 pages. My dissertation was shorter. The quality of the book is good. The condition of the book is perfect. You can just right now give it as a, I don't know, birthday present, and nobody will suspect a thing. But I will not do it because I want to read it myself. 900 forints is basically 2 euros. Please tell me the place where I can buy something like this for 2 euros. It still can be a second hand. I'm waiting. And if you actually know such places in Budapest, please leave a comment below. I guess that's all. You saw all my 7 books that I got from the book booth. I know it's not much, but also I don't really have space to put all the books here. At some point I had more books, I took them with me home, or I sold them, or I exchanged them. At the moment I feel like I have maybe even too many books, which I can show you in my future videos. So please leave a like and subscribe the channel so you can follow the updates about my books. And also recommend me one of the 7. Tell me which one should I read next, and maybe I can make a review on this. Now let's get back to the tea. It's already actually get pretty cold, but I hope I will still like it. I still feel like it's too spicy to my taste. I know somebody can say that it's masala, chai karak, what did you expect? The goal is not to compare this type of tea to any other type of tea with the same flavor. No, I'm just trying all the flavors of chai karak that I found in Jordan. And I'm rating it just based on my taste. So I would know if I should or should not buy it next time I'm going to Jordan. So this particular one, I would rate it as a 5. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I didn't expect anything, honestly. I didn't expect it's going to be that spicy. It's kind of burning me a little, which is not so pleasant. Well, the feeling in my stomach is not so good, so yeah, I don't think I'm going to drink it again. Maybe it's good for a specific food you eat, like, you know, like if you eat some kind of food, like actual food, not a biscuit. Anyway, thank you for coming and listening to me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked my books. I hope you will find books for you in such book booths if you visit in Hungary or if you live in here. See you next time. Bye!